So after a lot of convincing with 2 chisels, taking out 5 bolts out of this here lower unit, we've decided there must be another bolt. So eventually we pulled off this, and sneaky enough there's another one right in there. So there's 6 bolts in this lower unit, which I've never seen before. And obviously you can tell by the disgustingness which is in here. It's in pretty bad shape, so we got a lot of work to do. As you can see, we've got the lower end unit dropped on this model. I believe it was a 78. It had this little pin right here. It was actually fairly easy to get a long flathead screwdriver down in here to get the shift linkage off of this pin. Now you can definitely see, there was definitely a lot of debris and sand and just disgusting looking stuff going on here. So we've got a new water pump coming in. We're gonna get to working on that, and hopefully we can get this thing spraying water and working like it should, cooling the engine. So we've got the water pump split open, and I'm surprised to see that the impeller is actually still intact. We had 0 water coming out of the pisser, I suppose is what we call it. And I hope I just don't have a second problem, because I'm really not sure what I'm gonna do if I replace the water pump and it still doesn't pee. I guess that would signify some sort of clog somewhere else, so we'll have to see when we get there. It looks like they actually had a wasp nest in here. This lower unit was in pretty terrible shape. So as you could expect with a motor that's been this badly neglected, there's just a ton of water mixed in with the lower unit oil. So it'll be a miracle if we can get this thing shifting correctly and running right. Alright, I've got the new water pump. I'm taking out the old stuff, putting in the new stuff. This new one that I bought does not have this little hole right here. I don't know if that's important, if that's going to make a difference, or if I should make a hole in this one. Meanwhile, I'm watching Blue Gabe and Kelly over here. I've got the old gasket scraped off. I used a little paint scraper to do that. Hit it with some brake cleaner. I'm going to take out these bolts because this kit is pretty all-inclusive. It comes with all sorts of stuff, so I'm going to keep going and replace everything that it came with. Alright, so I've decided that the good Lord put this little hole here for a reason. So I'm going to try and duplicate it as well as I can. At least I'm going to puncture a couple holes with a drill. Because this is what came off the original engine, so figured they would know, right? Looks like this is all worn down right here. I think the pin fell out of here and got stuck, and you see all this. I think the pin came out of here and got stuck in here. And another reason I believe that is because when I took this water pump off, the pin fell out and hit the ground before I even pulled the what's it called, the impeller out of here. So I'm pretty sure the pin had moved at some point, and this thing malfunctioned a long time ago. All right, so I've got the new water pump almost completely on. Earlier I was talking about the kit came with all sorts of parts, and I was gonna open up the box underneath the water pump. I did not do that. These bolts actually go with this water pump. These are the bolts that came out, and as you can see, the plastic part on here is much taller than the one over here, and that's why we don't need these bolts anymore. So we're gonna put on these. All right, so I've got everything all installed. I've got it oiled up. This here exhaust gasket rubber thing is all chewed up. So I'm gonna install it like this just for today, but just because I'm impatient and I want to see if I did a good job on this water pump and I can get some water to circulate and cool this engine. And at some other point we'll drop this and replace these seals around this exhaust here. Alright, so getting the fuel pump installed was not that hard. However, getting the entire lower unit inside of the engine has proven to be pretty hard. So I've got to get a little more strategic with it, and we're going to see how this goes. Alright, so the first time this bass boat's been cranked in like 20 years. I'm gonna give it a go. Probably ought to choke it. Sounds like my battery needs some more charging. That starter sounds really weak, but you heard it try and fire right there, so that's a good sign. We're gonna charge that battery and try again soon. Good. We're gonna put this in start. Try it again with the key on choke. Alright, it's running pretty strong. We're gonna get the rabbit ears hooked up before we run that anymore. Very nice. All right, we're impressed. The impeller is just barely working, but forward gear works, backwards works.